say that can we provide a forum, can we do something that a child has experience of becoming a mini scientist? This may not be possible in every class. I'm not saying that. That's you cannot have an unrealistic goal. But they never have this experience. The idea is that can we give them this experience in a often meaning once in 3 months. Let's have a class. So we'll talk more about that folding of these ideas in classroom. We have a slide for that. But the idea is that let them feel that they're mini scientists. Yeah? Without diluting the rigor of science. And that's very important. That's where the group that you have formed comes in, because we have done science and we have been exposed to science at the very highest level. So losing the rigor of science is something kind of anathema to me. So we don't want to lose the rigor of science, scientific process, yet we want them to make them feel like mini scientists. And let's see how we do that. Okay, so here's a simple experiment that any 8 to 10 year child can do. And for this experiment we need some nifty, sort of delicate instruments. Yeah. So here is a picture of these instruments. What is that? Yeah. Okay. So I didn't want to bring up potatoes different sizes, but you get the idea. So this experiment, which I will do here by the way in a moment, not the whole experiment, parts of it. Yeah. What is this? Can you see?
Toothpick?
Yes, toothpicks. Do most households you think will have these things?
Yes.
Yeah? Is it too expensive to have schools to provide something like that? Yes, it's a trade. Yeah? Okay. So, and by the way, we do have a high-tech equipment. It's not just as simple as that. And the most high-tech equipment in this we have is we need a stopwatch. Yeah? A mobile phone will do. By the way, this experiment was first done some 300 odd years ago, and there was no stopwatch at that time. In fact, these experiments led to development of watches. And we'll talk about when we did this, the children we did it with actually caught us on that. So we can do this even without stopwatch, but that will come later. Okay, so what's the activity? So we gave them, here is a toothpick, here is a thread, can you see? And here is a potato. So all that you told them is that stick it in here, hang it from some holder. By the way, this experiment that I'm doing here may actually fail, in the sense that it's possible that the potato will drop down. Yeah, if it happens, the children who do the experiment, they will actually pick up and know what to do without being told. Yeah, so all that we told them, different sized potatoes, some onions, something else, and let it swing. Let it swing, and we told them, please tell me what is the swing time. What's the swing time? They asked, and we have to this much guidance you have to give. A swing time in, if it's going from here, it goes and comes back. It goes and comes back. That's all we mostly said. Yeah, and by the way, we did slightly more than that. We put for some groups it was not just the potatoes, but we also gave them a little part, this jar, and you can see that I have made a hole here, and I gave them this also. And I told them the same thing, get a swing time. But now I told them you can put here anything that you want. We were working in a sand pit, and they put all sorts of things. They put sand, they put a tomato, they put a tape that I used to measure this. So so that was the brief instruction given to them, and let's see what happened. Okay. So we always work in kind of 4 or 5 groups, and up to 5 children in each group. And this is what you ask them, what I just described, that you swing it and you figure out how much time it takes. Also what we gave them is a little data sheet. This much is important. How, they will not be able to spontaneously come up with a data sheet where they will record. So we gave them a record. We also told them that you have 3 groups, you please use different length, but keep the length of that object the same. Notice, I have not told them the word pendulum. I have not used the word time period. But swing time they will understand. Right? Okay. So they did it in groups. And it was amazing, just amazing. So what happened? The children were excited. They had never looked at an onion as a bob of a pendulum. They had never looked at it. And I'm not sure how many parents have looked at it also, how many teachers have looked at it in that sense. By the way, we did the experiment in a library in Bangalore, just after acknowledging, called Hippocampus. And the founder of Hippocampus is a member of this curiosity community. So they had a tree. And in addition to these potatoes, what they had done is it hung 20 feet tall nylon rope and a bucket underneath. And filled it up with something, a brick. And I said, this also you can, after you finish this, you come and do the same thing here. Yeah? Okay. So they were very, very excited. Yeah? And then what happened, so we gave them a piece of paper. I said that, you know, you put a tomato, you put a potato, whatever you want to do, change how much, you know, is in that thing underneath, and tell us what you find in terms of time, in terms of how much is swing time. And they ran back, incredible, whatever they're putting in, the swing time does not change. The swing time does not change. So basically some of them expected that it will change, some of them maybe they didn't, but nonetheless they were just flabbergasted that whatever they're putting up in that small swinging thing, the time, as long as they keep this length rope same, it doesn't change. And by the way, since we had 5 groups, and by design, and this is where we come in, this is where a teacher comes in, some guidance. We told them all up front that please make sure that the lengths are different. Each one person takes 2 feet, and another one takes 1.5 feet, another one takes 4 feet, whatever. And they could immediately run back to among groups, the peer interaction happens, and they saw different people with different lengths, they had different times, they had different swing times. Right? So they were very excited. I didn't have to teach them that if you change the length, it will change. And so what happened? In fact, through this thing, without being told that, independently they had discovered a some sort of law. This is what I call giving an experience of becoming a mini scientist. Right? What are the takeaways from this? So, what I just described is not just about teaching kids about physics of a pendulum. It's more. It's about telling them how to take observations, how to make observations, how to record data. And it's more about giving them a taste of scientific discovery. Right? So, you know, that is the joy that we would like to recreate, and it's possible. That's what I'm trying to say. So this experiment is just the fact that it can be done in the context of something that we teach in school. And it can be done every time. A different experiment can be done. So along the way they also learned, what they learned is trusting their own observation. Initially they might have felt that you change the mass, change the object, it will change. But no, it didn't. It didn't. Not only they trust their own observation, they also met, you know, one of the children came back to me, and this was a very precocious 7.5-year-old twins being homeschooled. I have never seen something like that before, afterwards. And this is unusual, but nonetheless, one child says this. He said, by the way, I see that the times are the same, but maybe we are not changing, we are not putting enough weight to change the time. Let's change the time. Maybe if you put a big thing there, it will change the time. And that is the crux of a thought, the thought of a scientist, that a child needs to have. Yeah? Once a child says that, a teacher doesn't say, a child says that, everybody in the peer group of the students understands what they talk about. Yeah? And they learned a very important technique of science, one of peer reviews, one of being able to defend, one of being able to discuss. All this without explicit instruction. See, I think the key for learning, I really believe that nobody can teach. I really believe people learn. A teacher just provides an environment. And learning is an intensely personal experience, just like any other thing, like losing fear of anything. You know, a magical moment happens, and you suddenly, you know, something goes in your brain, and you understand. So we are after that moment, and every educator must be after giving a taste of that to their students in middle school, high school, not on an everyday basis, but from time to time, enough to keep it going. Okay. So attempting to interpret data, you know, they interpret the data. They say that devising variations of the experiment. So I'll show you something that they did. 5 more minutes? I have? Okay, so I'll finish up. So one thing they did, actually, they took away this potato and they just hung, I'm not going to be able to do it, they just hung the toothpick from the end of the string and let it swing. And they said, but now the time period changes, the swing time changes. How come? Every time it didn't change, and with this it changed. And this young, child, young boy, barely 8.5, 9.5 years old, thinks and thinks, and then says, oh, maybe it's too light. Maybe there is air. I'm not making it up. It's an amazing experience to see a child coming up with this. Maybe there is air. So I said, you're absolutely right. And one thing we do is to give the experience of asking questions. I said, absolutely right. I can't do it without air right now. But you're right. I wish I could do it. So I'll hurry up now. Some quick things. I have discussed most of it. So asking new questions based on what they saw. And most important thing, losing the fear of science and gaining confidence. Okay. So now, typically children are exposed to the laws of pendulum in the 9th or 10th standard, and they see this equation. And yes, the mass of the object is not there, so it's independent of mass. But imagine the difficulty they have to interpret this equation and the ease they will have if they have been exposed to this earlier on and they will reconnect. Yes, I have seen this. Yes, I see it changes with length. It changes in a funny way. It's not like just L, but it changes. And by the way, usually our experiments say verify this law. And you know what they do? Make up the points so that it goes in a straight line. Because if they don't, they will not get marks. And our children keep us so honest. Experiments mentioned in textbooks can be and must be tried in classroom. My experience is that many schools do not try experiments mentioned in textbooks trying it on schools. That's a no-no. Okay, so let teachers and students get their hands dirty. Pay attention to the question they ask. Avoid jargon as much as possible. Jargons, the definitions come spontaneously. Okay, nothing will make the children more interested in science than the experience that there is a teacher who loves experiments. There is our own Arvind Gupta in Pune, an amazing person. You can look up the website. And all this has to be tried. The key idea is that try it without the fear of failure, along with the students. Okay. And use the stories. When we did the pendulum, we talked about how Galileo saw it in a chart and so on and so forth. And they said, but Galileo didn't have a watch. How did they measure the time? And what he did was actually pass. Yeah. Okay. Just some caveats very quickly. The theme of teaching through experiments is not the only approach, nor is the new approach. It's just that it's not tried enough. Yeah. There are other approaches like building things, engineering things. And time permitting, a school must try many of these approaches. Yeah, because you never know which one catches the child's fancy. Lastly, science is not just fun. I'm really tired of this word that makes science fun. Science is hard work. What you do at middle school level is that make it enjoyable. Bring novelty factor, not just the fun. Seeing a potato like a bob of a pendulum is a novel thing, not just fun. Yeah, or the fun comes to the novelty. And once they are caught on to the fun, they will know how to do the hard work. And we see this with our children. They take data like our 2 hours is over, but they still don't take data. Yeah? 9-year-old. Alright, so I just want to dedicate this talk to my high school mathematics teacher. Just unbelievable teachers. Now I realize, now that I have seen many parts of the world, they are some of the best among the teachers anywhere in the world. And I wouldn't be here if it was not for them. Thank you. The whole of, thanks to President Obama, this STEM is a big thing. Everybody has heard of it. So and in India, for time immemorial, they want their children to do science, because otherwise how can they get a job in engineering or go into medical science? So if you say I'm going to do a science experiment and come free, they will come. Any other question?
So where do we get the other, there are many topics there.
Yes.
In my son's he's studying in standard 6.
Yes.
So there are many science topics there.
Yes.
So you showed just 1 or 2 topics,
Yes.
Experiments. So where do we get the other experience?
Okay, good question. So question is that I have shown only one. There is a curriculum, there are many topics. How do you do that? Number one, here is where a great teacher comes in. Where is a great parent who is interested in the child. A parent, okay, so it is possible to look into a topic and devise a small experiment. The references I have given, we'll have several. The point is nobody tries it. Nobody tries it. The trying of it is so simple. And by the way, we cannot reach out to so many children. So one thing we are trying to do as curiosity is to go to schools and get groups of teachers and tell them, how can you devise experiments on your own? How can you devise experiments on your own? So give me any topic. I will find an experiment That potential is amenable. But having said that, there are a lot of experiments that cannot be taught. I mean, for example, if I rotate the potato, you will see it will stand on its edge. It's all over the YouTube. Or take a boiled egg, rotate it, and it will stand up. That's an experiment. But can you explain it easily? No. So you show it to them and say, by the way, this is something that you will learn later. You never lie to a child, by the way. You never lie to a child. You will destroy the child if you start lying to the child. So even in science. So you tell them, I can't explain to you. Don't say you can't understand. No, I can't explain how to, I don't know how to explain it, but sooner or later, maybe you will figure out how to explain to other children. This is possible. And since you're doing for 5 years, about 30, 35 odd experiments. Yeah? And we're not rebuilding science, right? I mean, Newton's laws, I'm not going to change. I can't rediscover Newton's laws, except I can rediscover ways of bringing it to the children again and again.
Thank you.